Hi, Deb. This is a message that's going to be exclusive for you. I apologize. I got a little bit of a glare, and I'm going to hope that this comes out the way I would intend. I wanted to send you something from my heart in the sense that I was going to send you some teaching. So I think the teaching is going to be more inclined to what's been going on while I'm here in Virginia Beach. I first got here a number of years ago. I left the rescue mission in Pittsburgh. And by invitation, I came down with a friend of mine that was in the mission. He had just got saved. He just accepted Jesus. And he says, I want to go to this place in Ashland, Virginia, man, that you've been talking about. They're having meetings all summer long. So his name was Gavin Friend, of all people. He was my friend, young in the Lord, but he had a heart for God. So we drove down. We left Pittsburgh. I left the mission after being there for about 16, 17 months. And I was glad to get out of there. And so I began a journey, as it were. And in this journey, I ended up at this campsite. It's in Ashland, Virginia, just a little bit north of Richmond. Well, there I was. And the first thing I did was I worked in the kitchen. I did that back at the rescue mission, helping to cook and prepare meals for people. But I worked in the kitchen. There was this little lady, black lady. Oh, I don't know. She's probably about 70, maybe even 72 or 3. And I got up one morning and I heard God say to me, Arise and go to the kitchen. I went, Okay, if that's you, Lord, I'm on vacation. I got a whole free week to be here before I figure out what's going on. Well, there I was. I got up. It was about 4:45 and took a shower, went into the where the kitchen was in this campus. And when I got there, there was this dear little black woman. And the door was open. It's summertime. It's July. And she says, We're not here till 8 o'clock. I'm just preparing breakfast. And she says, and I stood there and I go, Well, I'm not here to eat breakfast yet. She goes, Well, who are you? And I said, I'm your relief pitcher. Relief pitcher? Yeah, I'm here to help you. Well, come on in. So I put on an apron, one of those hair bonnet things. And she gave me 30 dozen eggs. She says, Start cracking. She says, Can you cook? I says, Mostly Italian. She said, Well, that'll do. You just pay attention to what I teach and you'll be fine. Well, this lady was excited for somebody. She was cooking for about 200 people breakfast. It's every week. Every week there's a different speaker. And so I got there. And there was a fellow named Josh Mills who was a gifted organist people. And he really gets people lively, bubbly, as it were. Well, I was there. My friend Gavin, he's there. And so I'm up early. I'm working in the kitchen. I just left the place after 15, 16 months working in the kitchen. So I began to fall in love with this woman, not literally, of course, but just her heart. She was just so dear. And we got talking, and I told her what's going on and where I'm from. Excuse me, got a niche. And so I began to talk to her. Well, I was there for about 5 or 6 months. And I came back to Whitesboro. I didn't last long. I was there a couple months. And then indirectly, I ended up with a person that I met at this campsite in Ashland named Bo. His real name was Robert. We called him Bo. And his mom needed some help, and she had a lady friend that they lived in the house. I went down there, did some projects. Next thing you know, things aren't working out. This poor woman is so critical. She loves the Lord, but she's over me like, just crazy stuff. So Bo says, You need to get out of there, right? That's his mom. I said, Yep. He says, I'll have somebody there tomorrow, 6:30. You got money? I said, Yep. Come on to Virginia Beach. Okay. So I get to Virginia Beach. And as I'm there, I get on the bus. I mean, I'm there. And I get to Virginia Beach like, I don't know, 20 hours later. Bo and I go out to a bar or restaurant, the only place at night that can serve a good cheeseburger. I was hungry. And he said, Well, I got just a place. So we went and had a cheeseburger. Make a long story shorter, I started going to this church. And he said, my mom used to play organ in this church. Well, I went there, I met the pastor, I met some people. And then the lady said to me, "Where are you from?" I told her. And so Bo was with me and his fiance, and we went a couple Wednesdays, and I got to meet some people, the pastor. And I said, "Hey, you mind if I share something?" And he said, "Yeah, go ahead. Come on Wednesday night. This Wednesday, I'll have you share." Well, I got up and I spoke basically like I'm doing you. I spoke a little bit about my life story, how God has always preserved me, set me apart, held me back, hid me in a cave, however you want to say it. Not, I've never been much in the limelight, but the crazy thing was that I knew I was there. I was to be there, excuse me. So I was there for a while, and then I found my own place, and I stayed with this brother, a pastor. Right now, current events.